We're back. Live chat, if you can put that in there, we're back. There we go, we're good.
You guys are good, we're good. How about that? So
Thank
anyway,
you, live chat.
That's great timing. We talk about Lynchburg, we talk about the LU up on the hill. Everything, as soon as you drive into this town, you know that there's a college. You see the stadium, you see this is big time college football here. I'm getting tired of this small school this, small conference that. But let's get Mike Hagan. He's already up here.
I'm up here.
Mike, I was asking for a step for you earlier, and they said this guy doesn't need it. He's a world-class athlete.
Yeah, no. Overestimation by world class.
So, Mike, tell everybody who you are. What's your role here at Liberty University?
Yeah, thank you, guys. Welcome to Lynchburg. Great to have you
Thanks
here.
for having us.
Senior associate AD, so I oversee development, premium seating, parking, try to raise a lot of money, support our team, and the Flames.
So, Mike, we look at these facilities we got a tour of last night. Where does Liberty compare? Conference USA, I would take a wild guess that you're towards the top of Conference USA, but amongst the group of five, amongst the state of Virginia, as far as donors and support like that.
Yeah, so I think our facilities first. I don't know if there's ACC schools, SEC schools. A lot of our facilities now, is our stadium is big? No, but I think you look at the quality of it, and our goal is to have national caliber facilities that we can host. Regional, super regionals, we talk baseball, those kind of things. We want to be at the best, and so that's our goal. We talk about donors. You know, Virginia Tech, UVA, they got 100 years of history ahead of us, but we're doing everything we can to catch up. Very proud of our team and all of our Flames Club members. When we went FBS in 2017, we had just under 1,000 donors. Last year, we hit a record high of over 5,000. It's going up from there. The numbers are growing. I think it's just a passion and excitement. What we have from Coach Freeze, now Coach Chadwell, that's just a fun to be a part of.
And so how do you think those donors play into, obviously, the success that you're having this year? And then you talk about the 100-year history at Virginia Tech, Virginia, but moving forward, as Liberty looks to be the big brand in this state and in this region.
Yeah, I mean, it's so exciting to just, when you think about an institution that's 50 years old, you know, our oldest alums are 70 years old. And that's a very small group. A lot of them at Liberty, they were pastors, missionaries. They didn't have that money. We're just now, from a donor standpoint, getting to where our donors are maturing to the point just in life that they can contribute and give. And so that's very exciting for us, and the energy that we have. I mean, it's fantastic to come out here. Our first game at the Clear Bowl. My wife and I are both student athletes here, and just to see everybody going down there playing Georgia Southern really kind of brought tears to our eyes, because when we came to Liberty, we were told, hey, someday we will be here, we'll go compete at bowl games, but to be able to see that in such a short time period, it's just, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's awesome to see, and then, you know, we talk about it all the time with the way that the students are involved.
Yeah,
so you look down the road, like you said, you know, in 20 years when they're going to want to come back to this and support this, and that it's awesome to see. So what can we do? What can everybody here do to help get involved?
Yeah, I think it's you know, I'll say not just for Liberty, but if you're just a fan of any group of five institution, you got to donate, you got to buy season tickets, and it's not just football, it's everywhere. You know, when we talk about compare ourselves to Virginia Tech, and we beat them, right? And not just in football, we beat them in a lot of sports. But their budget is $50, $60, $70 million ahead of us. So all of our fans expect us to compete at that level. We need to get to that level financially. Being successful costs a lot, and that is a group effort. It's not just, it's not just your alums. If you're a fan, you got to be on board. You got to be all in. And I think that's true for every group of five institution, because that's really where you need the support. You can't be a casual fan. You've got to be all in.
100%. Love it. Mike, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
All right, soon, all right?
No doubt about it. Thank you. So, guys, let's talk about these facilities. We got the tour last night. Shout out to Devin Doyle. That guy's unbelievable. Ton of energy. You want a guy that's going to be around your recruits when they come on campus, you've got a good one with Devin Doyle. But the facilities, I mean, start with the stadium, start with the backdrop. There's a few places. On our show, we love talking about Boone, North Carolina, and I would say that the setting rivals Boone, North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were here yesterday afternoon, and you know, as the sun was going down, and we were touring the club level and on the very top, and you could just see all the trees, and all the leaves are gone, so you don't got the pretty foliage, but it was just beautiful. I mean, and the stadium's top notch, top of the group of five that, in my opinion, we've seen. And the facilities top to bottom, starting from the bottom foundation with the weight room, locker room, all the way up to the very top. I mean, who wouldn't want to come here and play here? If you're a recruit, you show up to Liberty, you walk in, you're like, just tell me where to sign, bud.
100%. Well, and everything, obviously it helps that a lot of the stuff is new, right? But everything's clean. You guys hear me complaining about stadiums not pressure washing the steps or not pressure washing. So everything is clean. Honestly, the whole town,
Yeah.
as far as I've seen, is beautiful and clean and new. I mean, it's awesome. And then, you know, he talked about it. Look, you can't figure it out. I think there's a lot of people that are super involved here. I think the facilities are fantastic. I think the community is completely bought in. I don't know what happened.
They're bought in.
They're bought in. Yeah. They're bought in here in Lynchburg. I mean, until, like, one of the things too is you've got everything all together. All the athletic facilities are all right next to each other. You can walk. If you're a football guy, if you're in any type of athlete, you're in one place. And that's all anybody can ask for, is where you don't have to drive across campus to go to the locker room and then drive back or hike a half a mile to go to the practice field. Everything is right there. And again, everything is super functional. You guys know I love the weight room. Sorinex, the Mercedes of weight room supplies.
Yep.
And they got it here in Lynchburg, Virginia. And so, you know, it's impressive. A lot of people hate on this place. We're going to get into that. A lot of people like to hate Liberty for a number of reasons. You want to talk about the schedule? Let's talk about that, Jeff. Conference USA. Everybody likes to think it's such a weak schedule, but here we are with 2 double-digit win teams, and you mentioned it a minute ago. New Mexico State's coming off of a win at Auburn.
Yeah.
At Hugh Freeze' new stomping grounds.
Yeah!
So I'm sure these people not only love that for the implications of this game, but I'm sure they get a little, you know, on the back of their mind, a little smile when they see Hugh Freeze maybe struggle just a little bit down there in Auburn. I know you guys are good people, but I understand. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that goes to it. And you talk about these fans. You talk about the Jokers. We met those guys last night. I cannot wait to see. Apparently, they're going to be, half of them are going to be shirtless. It's cold, dude.
It's freezing right here. Sprouse, you've been complaining about it all week.
Yeah, I knew you guys were going to go there. I've been complaining about it all week. A Florida guy coming up here. But you know who's wearing a T-shirt and a sweatshirt and regular undergarments? This guy. You know who's got 6, 7 layers, long johns, thermal socks, hand warmers, all the above? These two. So, yeah, I might have said my things about it being cold, but guess who's up here toughing it out?
We're all up here.
I'm warm.
I feel great.
Fantastic. I feel great. I honestly, I wonder on the sideline. This could come into play here a little bit, this weather, because New Mexico State, a little warmer climate. Again, I'm not even joking about it now. I know as a Florida guy that anytime a Southern team has to come into weather like this late in the season, it ain't easy. It hurts. All them hits you're taking, it hurts when you try to catch the ball. Your quarterback can hardly grip the ball. Center exchanges tonight. Look out for stuff like that. But Jeff, who do you think that benefits the most?
Well, I think it benefits Liberty the most, just because of how much New Mexico State and Pavia want to throw the ball. So when you got wet footballs, you're going to see balls on the ground, I think, on both sides. But it favors Liberty because they love to run. Top rushing offense in the conference. Quentin Cooley, Caden Salter, I mean, they're going to have a field day. So Pavia's going to have to figure it out, do a good job. He's done a better job the last few weeks of protecting the ball. He's going to have to do that again today. But I think it favors Liberty. I really do.
Yeah, you know, one area where I think it could favor New Mexico State is just slowing the game down.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't think that they want to get into any kind of shootout here tonight with Liberty. Pavia's kind of an all-inclusive guy. He does it all for them. So I don't know that you want to try to get into a shootout and then put all the pressure on your quarterback, who, by the way, is obviously the leading passer for New Mexico State, but he's also the leading rusher for New Mexico State. So that's where you're going to put all that pressure on them. You look at this Liberty defense. They'll get in a shootout with anybody. They only got one game this year that they scored less than 3 touchdowns. So, and that's the Sam Houston game of all games. But Sam Houston has a very underrated defense. But, Tip, do you think with New Mexico State, can they find something other than Pavia today?
Well, I think they're going to have to, right? Because I feel like Liberty's defense is going to hone in on Pavia and try and stop him and minimize his, you know, try and put pressure on him while he's in the pocket, but then also prevent him from getting outside the pocket and rushing, like he did, pretty successfully in the first matchup earlier this year. But Murph mentioned it, a little bit ago. It's been raining today. The rain has stopped, but that turf's going to be wet. That bowl's going to be wet. So a huge key for both of these teams is going to be hold on to the ball, not turning the ball over. And most of the time, whoever wins the turnover battle usually wins. That's going to be huge, and it's probably going to be everything in this game.
That's right. And Liberty's 2 defensive backs are 1 and 2 in the conference in interceptions. Interested to see if either quarterback tries to go glove tonight. Anything. To me, and you're the quarterback, Jeff. Would you do what you've been doing? Or if the weather's cold, would you try a glove?
Yeah, you don't switch something like that up. And, if you're a glove guy, you stick with it. If you're not, you leave it off. So I don't foresee them going gloves, especially at Pavia or Salter, in my opinion.
So here's the deal: 5 Group of 5 conference championship games this weekend, starting right here in about an hour and a half. Liberty versus New Mexico State, Conference USA. Liberty undefeated. What has to happen for these Liberty Flames to find themselves in either the Fiesta Bowl or the Peach Bowl playing against a Power 5 big-time opponent?
Well, they're going to need a little bit of help. But the first thing they got to do is take care of business tonight.
That's right.
Against New Mexico State. And in my opinion, they got to cover an 11.5-point spread. They got to do that. They got to take care of business, which they're fully capable. I think they averaged on the season 19 points margin of victory. So they could definitely do it. Conference USA Championship, it's going to be tight. But they have to take care of business, number 1. And you're going to be Mustang fans tomorrow. You've got to get, SMU has got to beat Tulane, because Tulane is the higher ranked team right now. So you need a little bit of help. So if those 2 things happen, I don't see why Liberty doesn't represent the New Year's Six.
Tip, do you see a realistic path for the Flames to be playing in a New Year's Six Bowl?
I do, yeah. Like Murph just said, Tulane's going to have to lose. But I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here with SMU beats Tulane. There might be a little narrative there.
We lost you. You guys keep rolling. Keep rolling.
So here's the thing. I think the New Mexico State it's a big win for the college. But if SMU finds a way to Tulane team that's been ranked for 2 straight seasons, I think they're gonna come. I just think I don't know what the committee's gonna say about it. But Liberty beats New Mexico State. Now, if Liberty beats New Mexico State by double digits, by 14, by 17, by more than that, I think Liberty's in a good spot. But if they beat them by 10, and SMU finds a way to beat Tulane, then I think SMU is going to drop.
Check, check.
Okay. Can you hear us, guys? Can you hear us? Check, check. Check, check, check. Can you hear us? I don't know. I think it's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but wouldn't they still be able to hear out here?
It's all. I'm not even picking up. Where's Chad at?
I seen him right over there earlier. Check, check. Nothing?
Check, check. Can you hear? All right, guys. Can you hear us? Check, check. Live chat, if you're in here, you can let us know. Y'all can hear us? All right, can you see us, John? Having some technical difficulties. I apologize. They can hear us. Yeah. We're trying to. Yeah. No, I think we're back. I think we're back on the live stream, so I think we're good there. All right. Sorry about that, folks. Saying you can hear us, but you can't see us, John. Is that right? All right, perfect. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Apologize about that. One of the issues with doing remote, especially in cold weather.
Yeah. Cold weather. I tried to warn you about it.
I know. These electronics don't like this cold weather. But let's get to these games.
Look,
Rouse.
yeah, let's make it quick here. We're having technical difficulties. Let's get into our picks. I got wires moving around on my feet here, so I don't know what to do. Let's talk about Mac, right?
Yeah.
Not a ton of New Year's implications there. Toledo, I think, has an argument. Unfortunately, I think the committee is not going to have anything to say about Toledo. But you got two double-digit win teams again. Toledo, we've been talking about it for half the season, is one last-second field goal away from being an undefeated ball club right now.
Yeah, I mean, they've been dominant in the MAC. That's what they've had to do, 11-1. Daquan Finn's been fantastic, especially down the stretch, not turning the ball over. And man, Penny Boone, I mean, he's an animal. He's an absolute animal. He's a specimen. They love to pound the ball, and then Finn makes plays with his feet. So it's going to be a tough matchup. It's always hard to beat two teams twice in the same calendar year, but it does happen. So it's going to be a great game between Toledo and Miami.
Well, and we talked about it preseason in the MAC. We talked about all these quarterbacks, right? We talked about DeQuan Finn. We talked about Brett Gabbert. We talked about Curtis Rourke. And I'm going to toot my own horn here. What I said preseason was whichever quarterback remains healthy is going to be the one to win the MAC. And guess what? DeQuan Finn still sitting there healthy. Miami has a fantastic defense. And again, they won 10 ball games. We were there to see the first matchup, Toledo and Miami, in Oxford, Ohio. And, you know, Miami's defense kept them in that game. Toledo got up early in the first half. Second half, Miami's defense completely shut them out. But they don't have a quarterback, you know, a healthy one. Brett Gabbert, I did see walking on a treadmill this morning, so he's on the path here. But I just think DeQuan Finn's too much. I think Toledo's defense is too much. If Miami's going to have a chance, they gotta let Rashad Amos tote the rock. They gotta just run the clock out. But here's the deal. You know, you would think in all these cold weather teams, they'd find a way to play their championship game outside.
Yeah.
But you got the dome, and I think that completely favors Toledo. I think give me the Rockets tonight. Very close. Very close game. Tip, who you got?
I'm going to go with Toledo, too. I mean, I know we always talk about it's difficult to beat the same team twice in one season. But, I mean, I just think the loss of Brent Gabbert is just going to be too much for Miami. They're going to do exactly what you just said. They're going to try and slow the game down as much as they can and try and lean on that rush offense. Their defense is good enough. We saw, you know, in the second half of that game, they're good enough to slow down. They made some adjustments and figured stuff out in the second half of that game earlier this year, and was able to slow down DeQuan Finn in that offense. But again, Toledo's just they're playing incredible right now, and I think Toledo's going to win.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think Toledo would have an argument. You know, if Tulane were to lose, and if God forbid something happens here in Lynchburg, I think Toledo should have an argument. I don't think that they're gonna. But again,
what doesn't help is they beat San Jose State earlier this year.
That's right.
And then because of the computer rankings or whatever, San Jose State's not able to play for the Mountain West Championship.
That's right. Well, let's talk Sun Belt. Appalachian State going down to Troy. Troy, just like last year, had a heartbreaking loss earlier in the season, and all of a sudden it clicked, and they've looked unbelievable since then. And now App State, on the other hand, starts the season 3-4. 3-4, they were ready to fire Coach Clark and Boone. They were burning the city down. They rattle off 5 straight. And listen, those losses early in the year were very close losses. These wins here in the second half of the season have not been close. And they've been against really good teams. App State's 2 biggest rivals, Marshall and Georgia Southern, blew them both out. They beat James Madison in front of the game day crowd, live on ESPN+, and find their way in this championship game playing great football. And again, you have to give all the credit to Sean Clark and this coaching staff. They completely revamped their defense halfway through the season, and it's worked out great for them. So I think they're playing great ball, Jeff.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it starts with their quarterback. Junior college transfer out of DVC in California, Joey Aguilar, has been fantastic down the stretch. You know, the last on the winning streak that they've had, he's almost got 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. He's made big plays in big moments. He's led that offense down the stretch. I mean, there's not a hotter team right now. The only problem is they're going up against a buzzsaw in Troy, who's dominated all year long. So, and that defense, the number 1 defense in the Sun Belt, Troy has. And then you look at that side, Gunnar Watson's played really, really well, and they got the top rusher in Kamani Vidal. So it is going to be a tough matchup for App State. Can they do it? Yes, I'm never going to count them out, Cardiac Kids. Yeah. But they're going to have their hands full.
Well, and here's the other thing, Tip, is everybody in Troy, Alabama has that Hail Mary from last year on their mind. They've got revenge on their mind in Troy right now.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, and it obviously helps that they're hosting, right? They're going to host this championship game down there. They've just been kind of coasting along, just winning these games, you know, this season. App State's going to be ready to play in this. It's going to be a juggernaut of a type of game. And it's a tough one. Can I go ahead and make my pick?
Make a pick, Tip.
think App State's going to come out to an early lead,
Whoa.
but Troy ends up coming back in the
I
second
thought you were
half.
going App State.
I thought he was
I
for a
was.
second. Well, can I say something, Jeff, before you make a pick? And we talk about this, about App State, and I want this to be just a little bit of a message for the Liberty folks here. In the rare event that you slowly start the season and you lose a couple of tight games, relax. You got the whole season. You've got to let the season play out, because if you talk to App State fans in the preseason and you said, hey, here's the deal, you'll be playing Troy in the Sun Belt Championship game for a chance to win a very, very good Sun Belt and a chance to come out of, probably the best division in the Group of Five in the Sun Belt East, I think they all would have taken it. And so you start out 3-4, you lose close games, you lose a heartbreaker to Old Dominion, you lose a heartbreaker to Wyoming, you lose a heartbreaker to North Carolina. Guys, man, it's football. That happens. And so just pump the brakes a little bit. You got a very good team, a very young team. So let the coaches and the players make the adjustments they need to do. And, that's what they did, and they found this stuff. I say all that to say they got no shot against Troy today. My apologies, App State people, but, Troy is just – I wouldn't want to play Troy. I think if Troy didn't have that kind of bad loss to Kansas State earlier in the season, I think we'd be sitting here talking about Troy as a potential New Year's ball club.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, and it's hard to bet against Troy. I mean, I did it one time this year, and it was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But if you guys are going with Troy,
you got to do it.
I'm gonna ride with App State here. I'm gonna ride with my DVC JUCO transfer quarterback. He's been great all year. I think he shows up in a big way. He makes some plays with his legs. They hit some big shots downfield, especially with their top receiver, Caden Robinson. I'm going App State. I'll take the dog on the road.
Wild pick. Just out of control. All right, I like it, though. Let's talk Mountain West. Computers gave us a matchup. Boise State, UNLV. I've been telling y'all for 8 weeks, Boise State, as slow as they started, you just watch. They're going to find themselves in the Mountain West Championship game, and I like their odds today. But I want to talk about this. We were down there. We saw Boise State live at Memphis, week 3 or 4, whatever it was, and we were on the field there in the end zone. And it was the first time we had seen the 2-quarterback deal live out of Boise State. And all 3 of us agreed, don't like it. I mean, I was pretty vocal about it. Since they've made the coaching change, they've stayed with Talon Green, who was we thought was going to be the conference player of the year going into the season. So they've stayed with Talon Green these last couple games. They've won both games. Jeff, as a quarterback, tell me about getting in a rhythm. Because I know as a lineman, you got to get like 5, 6, 10 snaps before you're even ready to go, really. So talk about that as a quarterback when you got to sub in and out versus being able to play the whole game and feel it out.
It just doesn't work. In my opinion, as a quarterback, when you're constantly going in one drive and out the other, it's just impossible to get into a rhythm. So I understand. Like, I never understood why they were going with the 2-quarterback system to begin with. Pick a starter, roll with him, and then if it doesn't work, then you give the other guy a shot. But no, I think they made the right choice. Talon Green is a phenomenal athlete. He's done a very good job the last couple of weeks as well as protecting the ball. So, I mean, you got to go one quarterback. They've done it, and you've seen the benefits from that.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on this game? Because UNLV, had been pretty red hot, leading into that last week of the season. They took the loss. The Boise people seem to think they threw that game against San Jose State. But what's UNLV got to do to win this game against Boise?
UNLV's got to make plays, and it starts with that ground attack. Jaden Miava, the quarterback, when he took over for Brumfield in the beginning of the season, he's just been outstanding, running the ball, throwing the ball, and they got a stable of running backs in Davis, Thomas, and Lester. But Ricky White, the receiver on the outside, is a bona fide stud. This guy, I hope he stays at UNLV for a little while. We'll see what happens with that. But, I mean, he can go make the big play down the field. I like UNLV in this game. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little sour that Boise State got in over my San Jose State Spartans. I think they got robbed, but I'm going with the Rebels at home.
Tip?
I agree with Murph. I think they're going to win this game at home. I mean, UNLV's been red hot. They just so happened to last week they played an even hotter San Jose State team, which I agree, Murph. Even if it means UNLV might not get in to the championship game, I think San Jose State should have been in the championship game with how well they've been playing. But they just see that. Well, I say they see the 7-5 record, but Boise State's also 7-5. But it's Boise State. They're like you said, like they were going to find a way to get themselves in there. But no, I think I like UNLV. I think even though they lost last week, they're still red hot.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take them to win at home.
You guys know that there's one foolproof way to tell who's going to win ball games.
What you got?
You look at the calves and the glutes of the star players.
Big calf and glute guy, huh,
Big
Sprouse?
calf and glute guy because I have small calves and glutes. Ashton Genty, running back at Boise State, star.
Yeah.
The guy, we saw that guy live, and he was the one. We talk about it all the time when you're down there on the field. Who's the guy? Jeff Tip. Tulane, SMU, Tulane.
They do. They have all the reasons to win this game. And we saw Tulane at the beginning of the season. They looked the part. Very tough for SMU, especially without their starting quarterback, who's got all the stats in the world. But SMU's defense it's stout.
Yeah.
It's stout. And Tulane's won all the ball games. It hasn't been pretty at times, but you're not going to find me betting against Michael Pratt. I'm just not going to do it. So I think
there's not a ton of film on him. He's mainly just been coming in when SMU's blowing teams out. He's come in and played a little bit and thrown some, for some good numbers for the amount of time he's played. So there's not a ton of film on him. So that can be a positive. He's a dual threat guy. You can use that to your advantage because Tulane might not know everything that's coming to him. So they're going to have to make some in-game adjustments. But the negative is he's a freshman. This is right off the bat, he's starting in this game. It's the biggest start of his early college career already. Like Murph said, I'm not going to bet against this Tulane team. I feel like they're the more complete team, especially with Michael Pratt there and the injury to Preston Stone. I think it's just going to be too much for SMU to try and battle in this game. So I'm going to go with Tulane to win this game.
So you guys are both taking Tulane. I'm going to give the people of Lynchburg a little bit of hope right here. I got SMU.
Yeah.
I got the team out of Dallas. I got the Mustangs. No quarterback, no problem. Their defense is fantastic. Their offense, Jalen Knighton, they run the ball. They're red hot. Their offensive line is one of the bigger, more talented offensive lines in all the Group of Five. It's one of the better ones in the country.
Yep.
Give me SMU.
I like it.
So then that leads us to Lynchburg, Virginia, the Aggies of New Mexico State, the Flames of Liberty. We got to get John up here. I can't see. I told him I would give him like a little wink, but I can't even see out there. So let's get John up here for a minute. Let's talk about a sea of red, which again, a sea of red. Guys, this has been amazing. We apologize for the speaker issues, technical difficulties, but you guys have hosted us. It's been amazing. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of your tailgate, a part of this game. John.
What's up? You hear me?
We hear you.
All right.
What are you thinking here? What do you heard us talk. You're plugged in here in Lynchburg. So what's your initial thoughts on tonight's ball game?
Well, I'm excited for it. I mean, this is something that's been a long time in the making for the Flames. They've, moved up to FBS about 5 years ago now, and as an independent. So, that's something not a lot of teams have done and haven't had a lot of success with. And we did, under Hugh Freeze, and what he did for 4 years got us to 4 straight bowl games, and we won 3 of those. And now to be here with, the first year under head coach Jamie Chadwell, and to be 12-0, ranked in the top 25. I mean, we don't talk about it, much anymore. We did at the beginning of the season, but it was 50% roster turnover for this team. I mean, the portal opened up, like it does for a lot of teams, especially when you have a coaching change, and the team just left, half of them. So credit to the guys who stayed, and credit to this coaching staff for what they've done. But to be able to be here on a night like this, I know it's also the 50th anniversary of Liberty football. The 50th season of Liberty football. So to have such a special season like this is awesome. And hey, I'm glad you guys are here. It's been awesome to have you here. Our own. We couldn't get the real game day, but hey, wouldn't we rather have Group of 5 guys here anyways?
Well, now hold on here. Game day would have got up here for 3.5 hours and wouldn't mention this game, not for 1 second.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. We'd much rather have you guys here talking about Group of 5, talking about Liberty, talking about this game tonight. But it should be a great game. I'm really looking forward to it. And one thing that I'm interested to see what happens is what does New Mexico State try to do to limit Liberty's offense? I mean, this is one of the top offenses in the country, one of the top in the Group of 5, obviously, top rushing offense in the country. what do you try to take away? And can you be effective in that? Last week, UTEP tried to take away the deep pass game for Liberty, and they did. Liberty only had 28 passing yards in the game, but it didn't matter. They rushed for 441 yards,
right.
and we're happy to do that. So it'll be interesting to see what the Aggies' defensive game plan is.
Well, John, talk about a sea of red. Talk about your involvement. How'd you get started with this thing?
Yeah, well, I'm a Liberty alum twice over. I graduated in 2006 with an undergrad, and originally from Richmond, Virginia area, and I was a message board junkie back in the day, and that's kind of where my passion for the Liberty Athletics and Liberty Flames grew, and just became a huge fan, and I decided to start a blog one day. That was back in 2012 when Turner Gill was our head coach. We were back in the FCS in the Big South still, and just been having a lot of fun with it, and it's just kind of grown from there, and it's awesome to see the community that not that we've been able to create, but just that Liberty Flames Nation has been able to create, and made so many friends. I got so many friends out here in the audience, and that'll be in the stadium tonight, and it's so much fun to fan the Flames together. We do it together, and it's a lot of fun.
No, it's great. You guys got a big-time setup. This whole tailgate town area, fantastic. Now, I do have to ask this question. The Brunswick Stew. Now, is that a weekly thing? Is that only when the temperature goes below, or is that we're playing in December? This is big time. We got to do it big time.
No, it's a Brunswick stew. Shout out to Dennis Fields. He was out here at 9 o'clock this morning cooking up the stew, him and his wife and the rest of their family. And we change it every week. Sometimes we go based on the opponent. We get some. We had turkey legs when Virginia Tech was here. We switch it up based on the opponent. But, and of course, we got to get the God's chicken every now and then, Chick-fil-A. So, but no, Brunswick stew is really good tonight.
You'd think Chick-fil-A would set up headquarters right here in Lynchburg.
They should. They should. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, John, we got to ask you to make a pick. I mean, I think we all know who you're going to take here, but give me a score prediction on this thing.
Yeah, I got to take the Flames, right? I mean, we're 12-0. How can you not go with the Flames? Let's get to 13-0, get a conference championship, and hopefully we'll watch the game tomorrow. Tulane, hopefully they'll fall to SMU. But yeah, I got 31-21 Flames.
I like it.
Last thing for you, John, before you go. Is there a particular opponent that you're hoping you guys get a chance to get a crack at if you make it to a New Year? Well, honestly, in a bowl game regardless, but especially the New Year.
We want Georgia.
No.
Oh, man.
No, we don't really want Georgia. Hey, we would love to get to New Year's Six bowl, and the opponent doesn't really matter. And if you get to a New Year's Six game, as a first year in a conference, first year, being eligible for that G5 spot, then we'll take that. It doesn't matter. So who the opponent is, but if it's not a New Year's Six game, I would like to play the loser of the American Championship. Whether it's Tulane or SMU, I'd love to play them and see, really test ourselves and see where we stack up against one of the other, top conferences and top teams in that conference.
I love it. John, thank you for having us. Thank you for hosting, for showing us a heck of a time. Thanks for coming on here. We'll see you in the game.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Shout out Group of 5 guys.
No, thank you. Can we get that?
Yes. Get him
Get
up.
that haircut in here. This is going to be tough. I don't recommend this. We're not quite game day. I don't know about our insurance levels in case somebody falls. Can we get that? Let's see. Lift them up a little bit. Got the LU in the haircut.
Look at that. That's sharp right there.
That's big time. Fan of the game.
No doubt.
But no, really appreciate you guys being here, and hope you've enjoyed your time, and hope you enjoy
100%.
the game, and hopefully it's a Flames win.
Love it. Thank you, sir. Well, guys, you ready to make some picks here on this game?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it first. So here's what I got now. Caden Salter, how about this? He's not first in the conference in passing TDs, but he's second. He's not first in the conference in rushing TDs, but he's second. This is your quarterback. Second in the conference passing TDs, second in the conference rushing TDs. And oh, by the way, the guy that's first in the conference in rushing TDs, well, he plays for Liberty also.
Yeah.
Quentin Cooley. So it was an interesting stat as, we're prepping for this game, and I'm seeing not a lot of rushing TDs for anybody in this conference. This is an air it out, air raid type of conference all over the place. And I think, I think the weather cleared up. I think we're going to get some of that here tonight. I'm fired up for it. Let's talk about it, Jeff. What do you think?
I mean, I think you got two of the best quarterbacks in the conference. I know Austin Reed has all the stats, but as far as playmakers go, you got Diego Pavia and you got Caden Salters. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. They both got the stats, both got the measurables. I just don't know how Liberty's all the skill players, you can't stop them all.
Yeah.
You stop one, they got another. You stop that guy, you got another. So it's going to be a tough task for that New Mexico State defense. They may be up to the challenge, I'm not sure, but it's going to be a hell of a game. Now, New Mexico State, they take the entire play clock almost every time they snap the ball. So if you're New Mexico State, that's their game. Keep Salter, keep Cooley on the sideline, run your offense, control time of possession, don't turn the ball over. That's the key for New Mexico State. Can they do it? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Can New Mexico State have 1 or 2 6, 7, 8-minute drives? And I look for them. I also wonder how many shots down the field are they willing to take? They got these big, tall, long wide receivers, but then Liberty's got these corners that are leading the conference in interceptions. And we had it in our group thread. I think we were all watching one of the Liberty midweek games, and they had 3-4 plays down there, goal line, red zone, in the end zone deflections to really seal the game. So that's the matchup I'm looking at, right? These New Mexico State, these big, tall receivers. One of them's their backup quarterback also, by the way, Eli Stowers. So you're looking at it, Jeff. You're 6'2", you're 6'3", and then Stowers 6'4". That's some big body guys. Yeah. So you got to think you're looking for these down the sideline, back shoulder type plays. Maybe if you get down in the red zone, the fade, although I think it's the worst play in college football behind the fast screen. But you're looking at this with these big guys, and can Liberty's guys match up? I think they can. I mean, they've proven it all year long. So Tip, what are you thinking? What are you looking at in this ball game?
Yeah, so I'm looking at, we kind of briefly talked about it earlier, but can New Mexico State get anything going? Like, who else is going to step up? Basically, Diego Pavia, he's been a lot more consistent this year, game to game. We talked about that earlier this year. He's been super consistent. He's going to try and take over this game because he's going to feel like almost he has to. But who's going to step up? Is it going to be a running back? Is it going to be one of these 4 receivers? I think this game is going to be tight. I really do. I think it's going to be super close. Kind of like what we talked about. It's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year. I think New Mexico State is going to make some adjustments. It's going to be up to Liberty to make those in-game adjustments to counter and what Diego Pavia and this offense is gonna bring, because we know their defense is going to be there. They have a good defense, but I mean we saw how Liberty's defense slowed them down earlier this year, and the offense is going to do what they do, and Liberty's going to score a ton of points tonight because they're going to get that that quote, those style points to try and impress the not that's right, but they're going to try get some style points and try and run this thing up.
Yeah, I think they need to win big. You guys ready to make picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
Listen, I'm going to get it started. I'm taking Liberty to win this game. However, I don't think they're going to cover this double digits. I think New Mexico State, like you mentioned, they're going to try to slow it down as much as they possibly can. So, give me the Flames relatively close. Maybe you look at a late New Mexico State touchdown that, a little backdoor cover, as we like to talk about. But give me the Flames to win the game. That's all you can ask for. Tip, what do you think?
Well, first of all, before I make my pick, I want to give a shout-out to Turtle Power 98 that's out there.
There we go.
There he is.
Huge group of Five Guys fan. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here with us. I think I know which direction Murph's going to go. I think I know who he's going to pick.
Do you?
I think so. There's been twice this year where all 3 of us have picked the same team, and then that team has lost the game. The most recent was Miami-Toledo game. We all 3 picked Miami of Ohio because they were at home, and they lost that game. Toledo ended up winning that game.
We all 3 picked Miami of Ohio, and we all 3 picked Middle Tennessee at home, and both of them lost.
Correct, and they both lost.
So are you saying that if we all pick Liberty here at home, it's not a good idea?
I'm just saying it's not a good idea. There's the jinx there possibly, and I just I don't feel comfortable putting that type of jinx and pressure on this Liberty Flames football team.
Sacrifice.
So I'm gonna pick New Mexico State to win this game, but
there it is.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Liberty fans. I'm gonna pick New Mexico State.
Yeah, you did that. You did that for the Flames' chances. Jeff Murphy, you're last on the docket. Let's wrap up the show with your pick.
I think it's going to be extremely close. I think it's going to be a tight game. Pavia's shown he can show up in big games. And if you remember from last year, Diego came in here, took care of business, and ran it up on the old Liberty Flames. So I think that's a little extra for these for Chadwell and these players that were here, you know, the players that were here last year. So instead of saying, well, I'm going to pick, got something right here.
So we got headgear. Jeff.
What is he doing down there?
What?
Give me the Liberty Jokers. They're going to take care of business, win Conference USA. Can't hardly see in this thing. Give me Liberty. Book it.
Amazing. Amazing. Guys, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for all the support you guys give us on Twitter, everything. Honest to goodness, like, you guys are incredible. You guys are an elite fan base, a sea of red. Thank you for hosting us. Ironclad coffee. You guys get some. I hope there's some left because I need more caffeine. I need about another 300 milligrams before kickoff. Jason Porter Realty. If you're looking to come to Lynchburg, if you're from New Mexico and you're like, you know what, I like it here, we got a realtor for you, Jason Porter. And then shout out to the Clubhouse Bar and Grill as well for hosting us last night. Incredible time. We got about an hour till kickoff. Let's get in there.
Let's go.